Hello students. In this class, we will study the last two parts of the unit 2 topic. The parts are here is slow movement of elements and drag and drop. Now we'll go for slow movement of elements. Slow movement of elements can be achieved in web pages also. So for that we have to use some JavaScript special functions, and also we have to rely on some algorithms for the movement of elements, and this movement can be done by changing the left top or right bottom properties of the elements, and these elements are incremented and decremented by small amount many times with small amounts of time interval. So for that, Java provides two functions, that is set timeout and set intervals. Now we'll go for the function set timeout. Set timeout takes two parameters. One is a string of JavaScript code that is to be executed, and number of milliseconds of delay before executing the given code. So this is the example for set timeout. Here the name of the JavaScript function here as a string name, literal. Here mover is the JavaScript function which is performed with a delay of 20 milliseconds. Set interval is another one which performs the execution of the movement of elements with successive intervals, and it has two forms. One is exactly similar to set timeout, that is mover function name, that is any JavaScript function, and time delay in milliseconds, and this code executes this code controls the execution of the mover function repeatedly with the intervals. In the second format, along with the first parameter and the second parameter, additional parameters are given, and it is variable number of parameters. It need not be only one or need not be two. It can be many. So additional parameter can be passed to the mover function that is specified here. So if I want to pass any number of parameters, you make a list of parameters here, and that parameters are passed to mover function. So this is rarely used. The first method is always used in the simple experiments. So now I will go for the demonstration of slow movement of element. I will open the file. Observe that when I open the file in the browser, the text will move to another place diagonally with slow intervals. You can't see that where it is moved. I will refresh it. You can see the statement move to different location in a slow interval of time. I will refresh it. I will go for the code. Here is the HTML code for the mover text, and init text function is used to move the text to different location, and here is the statement which is positioned by absolute coordinate, and we have made it as a span element by enclosing within the span tag. Whenever the body is loaded, that means whenever the web page is loaded, onload event executes, and in that JavaScript function, the changing of elements location is done. For your understanding, I will change the statement here is computer science and engineering. I will go for the JavaScript file. The JavaScript file here is given as move text functions JS. So this function JavaScript file is little bit bigger, and the algorithm used for to change the location is may not be familiar to you, but it's not so difficult. It's a very simple one, and this is a function called by the onload event in the body of the HTML page. This is the function init text, and I have declared some global values, that is variable dom x, y, final x and final y. Observe here is final y and final x is 600 pixels. I will reduce it a little bit. I will make it as 300 and 300. Now the final value for the location position change here is 300 pixels. In init x, init text, current position of the elements location is identified, and that is matched with the text, and move text is called in the init text function. So the body triggers init text event handler, whereas init text invokes move text function. So in the move text function, see these are the code. It's not familiar to you, but you just go through it. It's very simple. Here x value, y value are incremented and decremented until it does not cross the final x and final y values. So once calculating the actual value, the next value for the x and y, these are assigned to left and top property of the style property. Here is DOM is the elements DOM property, and I'm calling the set timeout once again, and there it is move text. That means I'm recursively calling the function move text, and with the duration 1 millisecond. It's very small time. So now again I will refresh the page. Observe that in the JavaScript code I will change the final x and final y. I will refresh it. See, the statement is changed. See, it is finished because the location of this point here is 300 into 300. So till here is that movement of text is done. I will refresh it once again. You know, it is moved. Once again we'll come to the code. In the code I have given 1 millisecond. I will make it as 100 millisecond. You can see the difference. I will refresh the page. See, now the movement of element is greatly reduced because the text element is moving to next location with the interval of 100 milliseconds. If I increase that duration, it will be much more slower. So I'll make it as 500 millisecond, that is half second delay. So it is very smaller duration. Observe that the text element move to next location with half second duration. This is just for testing purpose. Actually, this much of delay is not recommended. Now we'll go for the next point. Drag and drop is one of the most important attractive feature of the GUI environment. In the initial days where there was no graphics and mouse support, everything is to be done by typing commands in the command prompt of the operating system terminal window. And it was a very time consuming and uh, not so easier task for the computer users. All these disadvantages are overcome by GUI development of a GUI based operating system. So the most important feature here is drag and drop. There I will select one element and I will drag it to another location and I will leave it. So that element's location is changed and it is kept there. We are doing like this in our lab by moving the icons or folder icons in the desktop on the desktop of the computer operating system display. Here we can have such feature drag and drop of element by using some JavaScript functions and writing our own event handlers. See, to drag, we have to select the element first and we have to move the mouse pointer to next location. Then you have to release the mouse button. So that means here is mouse down method event and mouse move event and mouse up event is to be implemented. So we have to utilize all these three events and we have to write separate event handlers for these three event triggering. The overall effect of these three event handler is changing the top left properties of an element. In the example given that I will going to demonstrate now, a two lines of a rhymes is shown and next two lines are shown as a movable, that is draggable element on the web page. The main important reason for using this example is that it is a mixture of DOM0 and DOM2 event models. Very important feature here is DOM2 event models because DOM0 event model is very easier one, and in DOM2 event model you will realize how it is so flexible and advanced than DOM0 model. Here the movable element, for example, so one text here, one simple text that is a word in the rhyme. I am specifying it as a movable object by specifying its position as absolute and top position, left position and some color, and on mouse event, so on mouse down event I am specifying the event handler here. Here is the grabber or any name you can give, but it takes one object, JavaScript object, that is event. We already studied event handling in Java programming and exception handling, etc. Here event is a JavaScript object which represents event have occurred in the computer. So this is the DOM0 model. So DOM0 model, so what I am specifying here is assigning the JavaScript event handler name to the event attribute of the element. So here is for the span style I am specifying the on mouse down event, grabber event. Two more are there, that is mover and dropper. Let's go for what are the functions of these event handlers. Grabber takes event object as its parameter and it identifies which element is to be moved from the current target property of the event object. That means it is I am not giving the specifying the event name directly, not giving the ID one, and I'll specify which object is triggered the event object by looking accessing the current target property of the event object, and also it determines the coordinate of the current position of the element to be moved and also computes the difference between the each of them and corresponding coordinates of the position of the mouse cursor. So mouse pointers cursor location and current position of the element both are identified and their difference is calculated. So these are the function of grabber. And not only this, along with this it calls the mover function which changes the position of the element. So grabber is additional event that is registers event handler for mouse move and mouse up event. Say for the document it adds event listeners by calling the add event listener, that is for mouse move. For the object mover, sorry, for the element mouse move event handler mover is used and propagation is specified as true. Likewise for mouse up, dropper function is assigned and again event propagation is true. The add event listener is DOM to event model elements, that means features. Observe here dotted lines are specified, that means additional codes are here. I am showing only the important one. Mover function, it's very simple one. We already seen such type of function in our lab experiments. It takes the coordinates that is specified by the grabber function, assigns them to the elements left and top properties. So element style, left and top property. Observe here is event, from the event the client's x minus difference of x. Difference of x is specified by the grabber. So from these two statements the elements coordinate is changed to current mouse position. Dropper is disconnects the mouse movements event handler by unregistering those handlers. So that means when I release it, so how the dropper is called, so that is very important. That is specified here is in the grabber function. When I move the mouse, for mouse mover function is executed. When I release the button, that is mouse up, dropper function is uh, invoked. That means when I release the mouse button, dropper will invoke and no further movement of element is to be done. So here is dropper. Main line here is remove event listener and remove event listener for mouse up and mouse move, and event propagation that is to be disabled. So that is stop propagation. So I will go for the demonstration. Okay, first I will show the document in the browser window, then you will release it. Observe that there are two lines of text. I can't select here. It's like this. Okay, I will change the browser. Okay, it's coming. Observe here, two lines of the rhymes are given here and they are static in nature. That means I can select but I can change their location. And here the possible words for the next two lines. I don't know what's that rhyme. If you know, you can place it. For example, here is, I will select is one word. Okay. Okay, I will change the browser and not this one. Open with Firefox. Always try to test your codes in the Firefox. Okay, here is the web page. Two static lines. If you want to complete this rhyme, if you know that, you can try the word like this. I can place it. So how I tried this? I'll bring the mouse pointer above the word. I'll press the mouse button down, and when I change the location of the mouse pointer before releasing the mouse button, so along with the mouse cursor, the word also moves. When I release it, the word will be fixed in that location. So when I press the mouse down function will event will be triggered, and when I change the mouse cursor location, mouse move event will be triggered, and when I release the mouse button, mouse up event will be triggered. So mouse up event causes the deregistration of event handler. So if I select here, it does not changes, whereas here if I click here, for this for this events are registered. So I will refresh it. You will get the initial stage. Now I will go for the code. The code may look bigger, actually not so difficult one. These are the static codes, text placed statically in the web page, so I can't move this. Next words are one word here and its style property specified, and for on mouse down grabber event is called, and every word is placed successively with minor changes in the top and left points. Series first word here is top 200 pixels, left 0 pixels. Now another word here is at the top 200 pixels, left is 75 pixels. That means they are arranged like this. So the words will be arranged in this manner. So their properties will be little bit bigger. That means the number of elements contained to be typed here is little bit more. So here is, if I click any word here is, it calls grabber event. See, you can see the grabber event handler for all words. and the necessary function for changing the function element's location is specified in drag and drop dot js. Here come to the function. In grabber event, current target is identified by event dot current target, whereas event is the JavaScript's built-in function for event object. So the element here is its position is identified, and difference of the current elements x and y and the mouse pointer is calculated, and events are registered. Here is add event registers, that is mouse up and mouse move, and after that I'll stop. Here is stop propagation and prevent default. It is very important because other JavaScript function should not execute. See, when I move the when I move the mouse pointer, it triggers mouse move. So for mouse move, mover is here. Mover function will execute. That is here. Mover function. There, the current location of the element is updated, and also here we need stop propagation function. When I release the button, it triggers mouse up event. For that event, dropper function is executed, and here events are deregistered and propagation is stopped. So logic is so simple. The code looks little bit bigger, actually not so big. It is every word's location is changed accordingly. So once again revisit the web page. There is the places are positioned statically. There is the candy word. I can move it. Initially it is placed at the word candy at the top 200 pixels, left 0 pixels. Now it is changed to different location. Likewise, another word here is cats. It is placed initially at 200 pixels and left 75 pixels. That is here. Now I'll change its location by dragging it. So this is the demonstration for drag and drop. Okay students, here it completes unit 2 of your web programming subject. All of you practice this. I will provide the code through online to practice all these. You practice in your spare time. Thank you.